Their daughter vanished overnight, and in her place they found her childhood teddy bear rotting in the dirt. You never really expect a camping trip to become the last normal memory of your life. For the Harpers, it was supposed to be simple. So they packed the car, drove north, and reached the campsite just before sunset. At first, everything felt normal. Her dad set up the tent, her mom unpacked food. Lily wandered near the tree line, taking pictures of the woods while the last light slipped through the branches. But then she saw something strange. Hanging from a broken limb, maybe 20 feet into the trees, was a teddy bear. Old, filthy, one eye missing, its fur matted down like it had been out there for years. Lily actually laughed when she saw it. She called her parents over and said, "Okay, that's creepy." Her mom told her not to touch it. Her dad joked that maybe some kid forgot it years ago, and that should have been the end of it. But Lily kept looking at it because she swore it wasn't hanging there when they arrived. That night, the temperature dropped hard, the kind of cold that sneaks through sleeping bags and wakes you up for no reason. Around 2 in the morning, Lily's mother opened her eyes. At first, she didn't know what had woken her. Then she heard it, soft footsteps outside the tent. Not heavy enough to be a deer, not fast enough to be a raccoon, just slow, dragging little steps, circling them. Her husband heard it too. They stayed still, listening. 1 full minute passed, then 2. Then came a sound neither of them could explain. A little girl laughing. Not nearby, not far away either. Her father unzipped the tent a few inches and shined a flashlight out into the woods. Nothing. No movement. No animals. No people. Just darkness and trees. So eventually, against every instinct telling them not to, they tried to sleep again. When morning came, Lily was gone. Her sleeping bag was empty, her shoes were missing, and the tent flap was half open. At first, her parents thought maybe she'd gone to the bathroom, maybe she'd gone for a walk, maybe anything reasonable. Then, panic set in. They searched the campground. They shouted her name until their voices turned raw. Other campers joined in. Rangers were called. Police arrived before noon. No footprints, no blood, no signs of the struggle. Then, one of the search volunteers found something at the edge of the woods. It was lying on the ground, the teddy bear. Except now it looked worse, much worse. Its stuffing pushed out through the seams like something had ripped it open and then crudely shoved it back together. It smelled rotten, wet, sweet in that sick way dead things smell. And around its neck, tied in a knot, was one of Lily's bracelets. One ranger said he found dozens of old toys scattered between the trees. A plastic doll with no head, a rusted music box, little shoes, a baby blanket buried under leaves. All of it weathered, all of it old, like the forest had been collecting things. And then, just before dark, they found a small clearing. No animals would go near it. No birds made noise above it. In the center was a stump, and sitting on top of it, neatly, carefully, was Lily's backpack, still zipped. Inside were her phone, flashlight, wallet, and a single handwritten note on the back of a campground map. 3 words. She took her. That was it. No explanation, no signature. You ever get that feeling that something's wrong even when everything looks completely normal? Like the woods are too quiet, the air feels too still, and your body somehow knows before your mind does. That's exactly what happened to this couple. It started as a simple camping trip, Maya and Ethan had been dating for a little over a year, and this was supposed to be one of those healing weekends. You know, no phones, no city noise, no stress. Just the two of them, deep in the forest, parked near a quiet lake hours away from the nearest town. Maya had been the one to suggest it. She said she needed a break, needed space to breathe, and Ethan, trying to be supportive, packed up the tent, the cooler, the firewood, everything. He wanted it to be perfect. The first day actually was. They hiked, took pictures, cooked hot dogs over the fire, laughed at nothing. For the first time in weeks, Maya seemed relaxed. But later that night, just as the fire had burned low and they were getting ready to sleep, Ethan heard something outside the tent. Footsteps. Slow. Careful. Circling. At first, he thought maybe it was an animal. A deer, maybe. Raccoon. Something harmless. But then, it stopped. Right outside their tent. And stayed there. Maya was frozen, not moving, not speaking, just listening. Then came 3 soft taps on the side of the tent. Now at this point, Ethan's heart is slamming. He grabs the flashlight, unzips the tent fast, shines it out into the dark. Nothing, no one, just trees, wind, silence. But Maya didn't look relieved. She looked terrified, like she already had a name in her head. The next morning, Ethan noticed things that hadn't been there before. A set of footprints behind their campsite. Not hiking boot prints, not random traffic. Like someone had been standing there, watching them. And then Maya found something near the picnic table. A black hair tie. Small, plain, easy to miss. But it wasn't hers. And that's when she started unraveling. Ethan kept asking, "What's going on? Why are you acting like this?" And finally, after hours of her saying, "It's nothing," she admitted something she should have told him way earlier. Before Ethan, she had dated a guy named Daniel. And according to her, Daniel did not handle the breakup well, at all. At first it was just messages, then fake accounts, then him showing up places she never told him about. Outside her gym, near her job, once even parked across from her apartment at 2 in the morning. She never reported it because every time Daniel would apologize, cry, promise he was done, promise he'd leave her alone. And for a while, he did. Until now. Ethan was furious. Not at her for being scared, but because she had carried this alone for so long. He told her they were leaving immediately, but when they got to the car, one tire was flat, not punctured by a rock, slashed, clean, deliberate. That's the moment it stopped being creepy and became real. They were stranded deep in the woods with almost no signal, and somebody had been close enough, bold enough, to touch their car in the middle of the night. Ethan grabbed the tire iron. Maya was shaking so badly she could barely hold her phone. And then, from the trees behind them, they heard a voice, calm, almost amused. "You really moved on fast." Maya went pale because she knew that voice instantly. Daniel stepped out from between the trees like he belonged there, hoodie on, hands visible, face weirdly calm. That's what made it worse. He wasn't yelling, he wasn't frantic. He looked hurt, like in his mind, he was the victim. He started talking directly to Maya, ignoring Ethan completely, saying things like, "I just wanted to see if you were happy. I wasn't going to do anything." And that line, "I wasn't going to do anything," is always chilling. Ethan told Maya to get in the car and lock the doors. Daniel took one step forward. Ethan lifted the tire iron and told him, dead serious, "Take one more step and I swear." That's when Daniel smiled. Not a big smile, just enough to make your stomach drop. Because it meant
He was enjoying this. Luckily, a nearby camper, someone from 2 sites over, heard the shouting and came running over. The second Daniel realized there was a witness, he bolted back into the trees. Police found him hours later, parked on a service road not far from the campsite. He had binoculars in the car, extra gas, food, a printed photo of Maya. He had planned this. That trip was never random. He knew where they were going. He had followed them there, and he had waited. That's the part that stays with me. Not just that he stalked her, but that the person she once trusted became the person she feared most. So yeah, sometimes the scariest thing in the woods isn't the dark. It's realizing someone has been carrying an obsession so quietly, you don't see it until you're completely alone. You ever get that feeling, like the forest is watching you? Not the normal "there might be animals around" feeling. I mean the kind where every tree feels like it knows something you don't. That's exactly how Daniel described it. He and his girlfriend Maya had planned a quiet weekend camping trip. No phones, no reception, just the 2 of them in a small lake deep in the woods. At first, it was perfect. They pitched their tent by the water, cooked instant noodles over a small fire, watched the sunset turn the whole lake orange. And then, the forest went quiet. Not normal quiet. No birds, no wind, no insects, just silence. Maya noticed it first. She asked, "Do you hear that?" Daniel laughed and said, "Hear what?" Exactly. That night, around 1:30 a.m., Daniel woke up to the sound of footsteps outside the tent. Slow, crunch, 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 like someone carefully stepping on dry leaves. He whispered, "Maya, do you hear that?" But Maya was already awake. She was staring at the tent wall. Because there was a shadow moving across it. Tall, too tall, and it wasn't walking like a normal person. It jerked. Stop, step, stop, step, like it was trying to remember how humans move. The footsteps circled the tent once, twice, 3 times, then they stopped, right next to Maya's side. Neither of them moved. Neither of them breathed, and then they heard it. A voice. Soft, almost whispering, "Daniel." But Maya hadn't spoken, and the voice sounded exactly like her. Daniel slowly turned his head toward Maya. She was staring at him with wide eyes, and she whispered, "I didn't say anything." Outside the tent, the voice spoke again. "Daniel, come outside." Same voice, same tone, perfect imitation, but this time it was smiling. You could hear it in the voice. Daniel grabbed the flashlight and clicked it on. The footsteps stopped immediately. Silence again. Minutes passed. Nothing. Eventually, Maya said, "Maybe it was someone messing with us." So Daniel unzipped the tent, just a little, and shined the flashlight outside. Nothing. No footprints, no people, just trees and the lake. Then the flashlight flickered once, twice, and in that split second of darkness, they heard the voice again. But this time, it came from behind them, inside the tent, and it whispered, "Why did you open it?" The tent collapsed in the morning. Rangers found their campsite completely destroyed. The fire pit scattered, their backpacks ripped open. But the strangest part? There were footprints everywhere. Hundreds of them, circling the tent, leading to the lake, coming back from the lake, circling again, but only one set of prints ever left the campsite. And they weren't human. So if you ever go camping and you hear someone outside your tent calling your name, Just remember something. If it sounds exactly like someone you trust, don't answer.